Okay, let's take a look at geometric series. Now, this series is actually probably the easiest in the whole toolkit of series because they have a geometric sequence basically as the base, right? We just add in geometric sequence numbers. And it is very easy to tell when they converge or diverge. So according to our formula sheet, these things converge when absolute value of R is less than 1. So basically every term is obtained from the previous one by multiplying by R, and then you add up all the terms. And it turns out they would add up to A divided by 1 minus R if the series converges. If it diverges, obviously there's not going to be any sum. So let's take a look at this example, and I'll show you how to do it using a calculator, which is super easy. So we're going to go ahead and open the Desmos scientific calculator. I'm going to enter the formula just the way it is. So that's negative 5 to the power n divided by a to the power n minus 1. I do have to put n minus 1 in parentheses. Now, the distinctive feature of the series, which is very important, because you cannot just do this sort of a over 1 minus r, which I've seen people do to any series. People are like, oh, well, it converges, so I'm just going to compute that a over 1 minus r, and I think that's going to work. Well, no, that's not going to work unless your series is geometric. So how do I know that? Well, if you don't use algebra, but just use plain calculator, you can just say, okay, what is a of 2 divided by a of 1? And then convert that to a fraction. You can see that that's negative 5/8. What is a of 5 divided by a of 4? Well, it's the same thing, negative 5/8. What is a of 101 divided by a of 100? Guess what that is? Negative 5/8. So if that did not happen, this wouldn't have been geometric series. And you can show that by just substituting n plus 1 and then substituting n and dividing, and you will see that the answer is always going to be negative 5/8. And that is your R. Now, how do you find A? Also super easy. It's the first term. So that should correspond to A of 1. But be careful here, because sometimes, not in this case, but sometimes the series does not necessarily have to start with 1. If it starts with 1, then A is going to be found by plugging in 1. But if it started at 0 or at 3 or whatever, that's what you put in to find A. Okay, so in my case, it's 1, so that's why I'm plugging in 1. So that's my A. Okay, so then what is absolute value of R? Now, hopefully you know that absolute value of R is going to be 5/8, but guess what? Even that Desmos can do for you. So if you put absolute value of negative 5/8, it actually will tell you that that's positive 5/8. And of course, that's less than 1. So how do you tell? Well, the numerator is less than the denominator, which means that the series is going to converge. And to find the sum, we're going to take A. So we're going to just multiply, take A, divide that by 1 minus R. And R is negative 5/8. Very important to include that negative in R. What you could also do, if you wanted to, for example, you could say, okay, well, you can't call it A. Okay, so I'm just going to call this B. Okay, so then A is equal to B of 1. And R is equal to B of 2 divided by B of 1. Then what you could do over here is just type A divided by 1 minus R. And it'll tell you what that is. And then, of course, you need to convert it to a fraction. And it looks like I got negative 40/13.